People's Radio United.
You know, this you pointed to something there, Michelle. This is a hell of a lot of taxpayer dollars being spent to provide private security for a company that could just go back up to Bismarck and run the pipeline through there. I mean, all these people who are like so against or so for the pipeline, well, run it through your town. Don't run it through the Native American.
Well, here's the deal. People stopped it up there, and that's why they decided to go to a place that they thought would have less resistance, because nobody cares about those folks down there, and nobody cares about their treaty rights or their having clean water. They thought that they were just going to get to slide it through a community of, oppressed people with no problem because nobody would stand with them. They got a big surprise. But they still intend to win, and so they're doing this multi-jurisdictional, vicious attacks with the full support of the local, state, and federal government. That's what it really comes down to.
Right. And, it just, a lot of the people who, I don't know, I'm just like, where are the fiscal conservatives all of a sudden? Where did they go? You hear this.
They're the ones that invest in the pipeline.
Yeah.
They're the pipeline investors. They don't want you screwing with their investment, man.
Well, I'd like to put something out there I'm going to talk a bit more about the company, Dakota Access Pipeline, as opposed to the cops for just a minute, because this is something that I've seen mentioned a couple times, but needs to be mentioned more. That company is owned by another company, and that company has ties to China. So basically, what this is a national security risk. It's basically giving China the means to destroy our drinking water. Like, if we're going to do this, we damn well better hope we don't provoke China. And where are the national security Republicans all of a sudden, letting, I mean, basically it's opening a back door for China. It's the hypocrisy that's coming from the right on this particular subject. I mean, I'm not playing sides here, right, left, or whatever. It's but there's hypocrisy on both sides, and it sickens me. But now I'm talking about an instance that points to the hypocrisy on the right. So right-wingers out there, don't go thinking I'm some lefty liberal social justice warrior who hates the right. I hate the left just as much. Just want to qualify that. It's just the hypocrisy from the right wing on all of this. You have a national security risk where the China's involved. You have taxpayer dollars being just spent by the nines, and all of a sudden it's okay to just, waste taxpayer dollars. It's okay to spend a bunch of taxpayer dollars. The hypocrisy over there is just driving me nuts. This is from the people who call themselves patriots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it that's really interesting, if you and I drive carelessly, there's a real double standard here on top of it all. If you and I drive carelessly, like, we text and drive, drink and drive, whatever, we're going to be called what we are, a safety risk, and we're going to get arrested. There's going to be consequences, all that. Energy Transfer Partners, the organization, and you're right, I think about that China connection is really significant. But this ETP organization has had 274 quote unquote accidents in the last 4 years. And I'm sorry, last 2 years, begging your pardon. And they've been fined $22 million by the federal government. And yet, it's still okay for them to run that pipeline under a major body of water that provides drinking water and potable water for a huge swath of the United States, not just the Native American community downstream of that, but like a huge swath of the United States gets their water from tributaries off of that river, the Minnesota. I'm trying to remember the name of the river, but anyway, it's it's insane to me that people think that it's okay to drive that stupid thing, under the Missouri River. That's the name of the river, under the Missouri River, and think there's not going to be an accident. I mean, they already know. And this outfit has flooded tons of oil into various creeks and all kinds of other things. I mean, they have a huge bad safety record. So the fact that, there's a double standard here as well about not even caring about how safe these people are and all this, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, oh my God, it really is. And it's just, yeah. So we have this thing going on where the police are in there right now evicting people, and no doubt there's violence being used, and no doubt I did see something where the police are setting teepees and stuff on fire and then saying the protesters did it.
Yeah. And in one case,
like
a young woman got burned because because she wasn't able to get out fast enough. A young, like a child. I mean, it's horrible. I work also, in addition to working with Communities United Against Police Brutality, I also work with the National Lawyers Guild Minnesota chapter, and we are getting a lot of contacts right now. A lot of our lawyers are in Standing Rock with the Water Protectors Legal Collective, like I said before, and we're getting a ton of contacts from people there who have just been viciously beaten. One guy has a broken hip and fractured vertebrae, all kinds of other injury things. People are frantically, their family members are trying to find out what hospital they're in and, or where they've been taken. People can't find their relatives. It's a horrific scene there right now.
Right. And people just aren't really aware that this is happening because, once again, the police are keeping out media and cameras that are favorable to their narrative. I mean, I just want to grab people and shake them and say, this is not what a constitutional republic looks like, and slap them. It's, how in the hell do you think government controlling the narrative completely is not tyranny? A lot
of people are asleep at the wheel, man, sadly.